Today we are going to talk about Lamar Jackson. Uh, Everyone woke up yesterday to the news that the Baltimore Ravens decided to franchise tag, non-exclusive tag, their quarterback after failing for over a year to come to an actual long-term deal with him. So pretty much franchise tagging him, the specific type of tag they use, and obviously the simple fact that they still have yet to come to a number that matches for both of them is definitely it raised a lot of big questions on what's going on between Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, and
Raised a
that's
lot of
definitely what we're here
eyebrows.
to talk about. Oh yes, so I say let's start from the beginning. Just kind of talk it out. I don't know if people remember, but after 2021, he got offered 5 year, 250 million with 133 million guaranteed, and pretty much turned that down.
Yep.
Since then, throughout the year last year, he made it very clear that he did not want to talk football or did not want to talk extension talk, only wanted to play football and didn't want that to be a concern. He'll focus on that in the off season. Pretty much without that extension being played out, he played out his 5th year of his rookie contract and pretty much decided to make a bet on himself. Baltimore Ravens, obviously, I can at least say, because a lot of people are questioning what they're doing, but I can definitely say they do want to keep their quarterback.
Mm.
They just have a couple different hands that they can play. And at the end of the day, they're making a bet on themselves as well.
They,
So right
they
now
kind of
you got
are. They
both of
kind of
them.
are.
They are, and I'm gonna lay it out how they really are. 'Cause a lot of people really just think it's like just dumb not wanting to pay the money, but at the end of the day, they're playing their hand.
Mm.
The same way Lamar played his hand last year, now they're playing their hand. So at this point, it really is Lamar Jackson's versus Baltimore, and we got to figure out who's gonna win.
Mm. Basically, that's what this offseason is gonna be. Like a lot of people thought that it was gonna be a lot of other quarterbacks we're gonna talk about, but once this news came out,
Hmm.
everyone wants to talk about this, and it was surprising. I would say like the NFL world was surprised by it. They didn't expect them to put a franchise tender on him, where like they thought it was gonna be an exclusive tag where everyone thought that they were just going to keep him on the team without him being able to go around and look at the market as well. So that's interesting there as well. But tell us about like the Ravens side of it. Like why why are the Ravens like making a good deal on their part?
So they're basically playing their hand. At the end of the day, believe it or not, and some people have made questions about it. The Ravens have tried to draft to build a team that is set for Lamar's talents. Unfortunately, they get hit with a lot of injuries.
Yeah, for sure.
And they do got a contending team. At the end of the day, they do got a team that if everyone's healthy, they're gonna go to the playoffs. They're gonna make some noise.
Mm,
How far they go, that's always a question.
right.
Now, the reason why I say they are playing their hand and not technically just trying to get rid of their quarterback, this tag allows Lamar to actually see what teams are actually willing to offer.
Right.
Now, he's demanding a certain amount of money, and I've known we made a big deal about Watson's contract, Russell
Exactly.
Wilson's contract, how Derek Carr just got a decent contract. So I get we question all this money being thrown at quarterback, but right now I think that the Ravens are trying to show Lamar that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So with this tag, it allows someone else to actually throw an offer. Granted, it's got to be matched with a couple decent picks.
Two first round picks. It's
Definitely.
a it's a big price, but then again, so is the contract. So,
Exactly. So no one no
but
one
then
picks him up. No one offers him that much. Now it begins to question, what does Lamar do? The ball's back in his court.
true, but then the Ravens could always just match whatever offer anyone else wants to match him.
At the end of the
But
day.
But here's my thing though, like with this whole thing, him even playing his 5th year option, just on his 5th year option, not getting the deal done, I got to give this man a lot of credit. I know he wasn't able to finish the season, and he did get injured this season. It's a big risk playing on your 5th year option. A lot of people in the NFL world know this, but Lamar Jackson doesn't have an agent. He is his own agent. So some people are questioning whether this is really hurting him in the end or if he's making the right decision. Now, you pointed out that Deshaun Watson was the guy that everyone was looking at, and that was the real thing about this is Jimmy Haslam. He loved Deshaun Watson so much, the owner of the Browns. He loved him so much that he gave him a fully guaranteed contract, and that was really the issue right now. What Lamar wants is that fully guaranteed contract from the Ravens. He doesn't want what they offered, and they offered him, like you said, 250 with 133 guaranteed, which is very similar to that Russell Wilson contract. It's around that 68, 69% overall guaranteed. But he wants that fully guaranteed contract just like Deshaun Watson does. Um, Now, do I think that Steve Buscemi, and the Ravens are gonna give him that type of contract? Man, I don't know if they want to really set a precedent now. You saw that one guy did it. Once one guy does it, it's anomaly. But once a few guys do it, you get the second quarterback, the third and fourth are not gonna want unguaranteed contracts after that. So the Ravens, they're really trying to put their foot in the sand right now. It's like, no, we're not gonna give you a fully guaranteed contract.
No, and for them, I think it really comes down to more than that. Like I said, any team he goes to is not going to be as prepared to be the team built for him more than the Baltimore Ravens. The only team I
Mm,
could honestly think of that will be close is the New York Jets.
I was just gonna say that too. That's funny. I was
The New
literally just
York
gonna say
Jets
I,
with the
I think that they're
defense they have, they honestly will be the perfect fit. But even then, it will still take a different type of
good running game.
everything would have to switch up for everybody for that to work. We know, so that would still be a little bit different, just for the fact that coming back to Baltimore, everything would be the same. You still got to put Baltimore, but at the end of the day, the Jets are the only one that have the team. So a lot of teams aren't gonna not only give up that money, but give up those picks because if he's not the one
Point.
piece that
Good point.
wins you now or wins you a championship now, is it worth it? And now,
I don't know. I think it is because the GM of the Jets literally just said we are a quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl. That's what he said. So I think that a proven guy. I mean, yes, you can say Lamar Jackson's had his injuries. Even throughout his college career into his NFL career, he had 2 ACL surgeries. So that's a big risk you're taking on a guy. But a proven guy that has gone to the playoffs 4 out of the 5 years he's been in the league and a Super Bowl MVP. I would think that there should be some buzz in the league around for that type of talent.
see, I don't think there is, and that's why I think the Ravens playing their hand. 'Cause I think that they think that as well. Uh, he had the MVP season, but you got to realize that season alone, still he won 13 and 2.
13-3.
Yeah. No, well, he didn't. That's right. He didn't
Oh, he
start that
didn't.
one game. No, there was one
Okay,
game he didn't
he
play.
didn't
Yeah, it was
start.
13 and 2. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Threw for 3,100 yards, completion rate of 66%, 36 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Right.
That
I
was a
mean,
great year.
you do got to add the Russia stats in there too, though.
100%. And those rushing stats are 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns.
That's a huge number right there, and that's a big reason why he was MVP for sure. Is those
A
rushing stats?
hundred
He
percent.
got the
Uh,
record that year for most rushing yards in a year before Justin Field just beat him this year. But I mean,
but
like, you don't think that type of talent is worthy of getting? I mean, yes, I understand what he wants is a fully guaranteed contract, but you don't think that he's worthy of getting teams looking at him as a top three type of salary guy?
Oh no, he's definitely a franchise quarterback, but
Okay.
it's the amount that it's worth.
Yeah.
Like
Okay. So that's a question.
2019 MVP season, had a great campaign, but he hasn't come close to those level or that level of play in 2 years. Uh, both. Years after that, you got injury problems. And at the end of the day, I don't know if you remember, but we actually had a conversation about this in the beginning of the NFL season on when he decided to decline that extension. We had an episode on did Lamar Jackson make the right move betting on himself?
Yeah, I
And
remember that.
my opinion was no.
Yeah, I remember that. And mine was yes, actually.
Yeah, because I've been saying the level of running ability. We understand what he brings to the table. He's one of the best multidimensional players we've ever seen. But that level of running ability with those injuries that he's having in his legs is going to continuously drop. I'm not going to say and act like he's a running back, but at the end of the day, running backs' career are extensively short. Running quarterbacks' career are usually way shorter than that. So you add to the fact that he's missing multiple times because of injuries, his running ability is going to start to lower down a little bit. The problem with that is his passing ability is already started off at average.
Hmm.
Like he literally averaged what is it? That MVP season was a great year, but the man was still getting 200 passing yards a game that year, and his
I get
average
that,
is
but
100 is about like 220. Like he doesn't consistently average more than 250 passing yards a game, and we've seen what happened in the playoff. For four different appearances, he's only won one game. Is because for all four of those games, we've seen teams stuff that box, force Lamar to throw the ball, and find out that the Baltimore Ravens can't succeed when they have to pass.
well, that's definitely true. And this is the reason why I disagree with your earlier point where you said that like they built the team around Lamar Jackson, because I really don't agree with that. I really believe that they built the team around the defense, and they always have. They always have been. And Baltimore has never been a team to really spend money to bring free agents in. They never have been, and they never brought in a big free agent throughout Lamar Jackson's tenure while he's been there. Mark Ingram was like the only free agent they brought in, and he was a backup running back at that. Uh, yes, they did have a lot of injuries, which that hurts any team, and especially their running back getting injured, J.K. Dobbins getting injured 2 years in a row. That 100% hurts him. But I kind of disagree that they were building a team around Lamar. They were always giving him some washed up receivers like Sammy
I
Watkins.
mean,
Like
we
I mean
he had Brown for a while.
he was good for 1 year. Hollywood Brown was good for 1 year, and he was still a young receiver. He was in his second year when he was good.
As I was
So
saying, they tried to draft because thing they can't get nobody to go there.
that
So
that's
they have
that's because they
tried
don't
to
spend money.
draft, and at the end of the day, when you got a quarterback action for 250 guaranteed, how are they gonna get talent around him? So they do what they can. Get tight
So
ends, get linemen,
yeah,
build the
yeah,
defense. Try to
yeah.
draft
I
receivers
got.
to build the talent. Like they have tried. At the end of the day, the
But
Jets did exactly the same thing.
the
Got
offensive
one
line,
decent receiver, no line, a great defense,
exact.
and all they're one quarterback away. That's what the Baltimore Ravens already are.
Yeah, but the offensive line has always been a problem for them. Always. Past 5 years has always been an issue with them. And Lamar even like said that during the one time that they got to the playoffs, and he didn't start the full game, and RG3 had to finish for him when he got injured. And during the playoff game, he was even like complaining about the line that whole year.
Oh
He's
no, the first year in the playoffs, he got sacked 7 times in one game.
That
Second
was
year,
the
he
year.
got
Yeah.
sacked 4 times.
I think it was the second year actually. Yeah, yeah, it was the second year. But I mean, I kind of see what you're saying, that they don't want to give him a fully guaranteed contract. But the reason why I said that Lamar Jackson made a good decision last year is because, I mean, if he would have took the contract last year, yeah, he would have had that 133. But I mean, you see what guys are getting now. Like Kyler Murray's getting more than Deshaun Watson. Yeah, it's not guaranteed, but Kyler Murray's over that, like he's at 46 million average, and Russell Wilson's at 245 million at 49 million average. Aaron Rodgers getting 50 million a year. So I mean, I don't see why a guy like Lamar Jackson, who's an MVP in his fifth year, has been to the playoffs so many times with a team that has been, I would just say, like more defensive driven, to be honest. They've never been offensive focused, never have been in his 5 year career. I think that he deserves guys in the NFL to look at him. And I know that something's going on, because right when the Ravens announced that they're giving them that franchise tag, 5 teams came out on Twitter. And I guess like all these reporters were asking him this question: are you interested in Lamar Jackson now that he's got a non-exclusive franchise tag? And 5 teams came out and said no: the Ravens, Miami, Atlanta, Carolina Panthers, and I think Another team from the NFC South said that as well. But I think Tampa Bay actually, yeah, Tampa Bay said that as well. So it's just insane that
And
like
that's why I
within
said
15
they're
minutes.
because and that's the thing. Obviously, it's not like people don't want Lamar, but the Ravens are basically showing Lamar like one. I'll be honest, and it really is Watson's fault because that fully guaranteed makes
Yeah.
no
But
sense
is it
after
his
what
fault
he
though?
went through.
Is it
No,
his
it's
fault?
the team's fault. But they like after what he went through, there's no way that he should have been the first one to get a fully guaranteed contract. So the fact that he set the precedent makes it so much worse because everyone's like, "You're wild." That man was out for a year and was about to be suspended for a whole nother year, and they still gave him fully guaranteed. Every quarterback, including Lamar, is thinking, "Give me my money." But at the
Exactly.
end of the day, every
Exactly.
team can't give you their money. They're both making business decisions. At the end of the day, I don't think the Baltimore Ravens' decision was screw Lamar, like you're out of here. I think it was listen, hey, let's see what someone else has to offer. No one's gonna offer a big enough deal to where they trade away the damn house. I don't see that coming. And anyone that offers a good enough deal, Ravens will match it. And at that
So
point, that's what they have.
so here's the thing, like we already know what the Ravens have offered Lamar and what he already declined. So we know that he's gonna get something above that on the open market. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
and
above
they're
that. And the only thing he's looking at, I know that he's looking at guaranteed money. He doesn't care about that total value of the salary. He wants that guaranteed. He literally wants 231 million guaranteed. Deshaun Watson got 230, and he wants that 231. I kind of tend to agree with you where I don't think the NFL they don't want to give it to him. I do kind of believe it's a little bit of collusion. It might not be, what we see as collusion, like all the NFL owners came around and they talked to each other, but I think that they're all thinking it. They don't want to give another quarterback. Like I said, like one quarterback is an anomaly, but two starts a precedent, and then the next one, like you said, the next one, and the next one, they're all gonna want fully guaranteed contracts. And Herman Edwards, um, he was a player and a coach in the NFL since the 70s, and he even said that in the 70s the players were talking about fully guaranteed contracts and wanted those fully guaranteed, but no,
well, that's the
owners never
thing.
wanted to give NFL players fully guaranteed contracts.
It's not even about like I promise you right now, if Patrick Mahomes went to the Chiefs and say, "Yo, I want to restructure and I want mine fully guaranteed," or if his year was up and he won the Super Bowl and new contract coming up and we talking and he says, "I want mine fully guaranteed," give that man fully guaranteed. I'm not saying her saying I'm against any quarterback getting
So
fully
you think only
guaranteed.
certain quarterback deserve it?
100%. Like you had an
That
MVP season, haven't passed over 3,000 yards since then. Haven't got to 1,000 rushing yards since then. Consistently injured and failed both 3 years in a row in the playoffs. I'm not giving you fully guaranteed money. I'm
and
sorry.
that's where we have to like that's where we would have to talk about the actual contract details because I
They
mean I
turned
kind of
down
agree with you there.
133 guaranteed. That was the
That's what
most.
they
That was the
that was the
highest they were
most
willing to
recent
go
offer.
at
So
133 guaranteed,
So
and he
what
turned
I'm
that
thinking
down.
is his total value is gonna have to go down, and they're gonna have to bring down like a year on that contract if he wants a higher guarantee. Instead of getting a 5-year deal, kind of like Russell Wilson got with the Broncos, he's gonna have to go for a 4-year deal. He's gonna have to get 4 years and try to settle it that way. And you know, I mean, there's precedent though, because guys on the open market, Derek Carr just got paid 40 million a year. Daniel Jones is getting paid 40 million a year, and my man Lamar Jackson is getting paid 32 on the franchise tag. So you're telling me that he is now worth more than these two guys, and guys are not like there's teams that are gonna pay him more than that. I think.
No, and that's the thing. That's why I really believe that that exclusive or non-exclusive tag was to specifically allow the Ravens to somehow still end up with him.
So you think either way, whatever he gets on the open market, the Ravens are like they're most
They're
likely
gonna
gonna bring
match it
him
because
back.
it's gonna be less than what he wanted.
So let's talk about that. Let's
Because
let's
he
talk
got
about
he got three options:
yeah.
negotiate
I was gonna say
a
talk about
more
his options.
expensive deal, including the guaranteed money that he want with the Ravens. Negotiate a deal with the team, which then the Ravens can match or exchange for two first round picks, or negotiate a deal with the team, which the Ravens can match and then trade.
Right, sign and
Um,
trade.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and at this
So
point, it looked
most
like the first one's really not happening.
the first one is like
Them coming to a
95% not
deal.
happening.
Yeah, it's not happening.
That looks like it's definitely not happening. I think that the relationship is so messed up with the Ravens right now. I really think it's so messed up. I think this whole past year has been messed up. I think that Lamar wanted his contract last year, and yeah, you know what, he didn't want the 133. What I was hearing from other sources was that he was looking at 180 fully guaranteed with the 250 million dollar contract is what he wanted, but the Ravens didn't accept that. Obviously, they were way like they were $50 million away from each other, so they obviously
Yeah.
couldn't get anything done. So they were like, all right, go look in the open market, see if anyone else is willing to pay you that, and if they are, then maybe we'll pay you, maybe we will, or maybe we'll decide to get those first round picks depending on who it is. Maybe it's a team like, I don't know, just putting it out there, Chicago, Miami, like guys that have like picks in the early first round, and maybe the Ravens want to pick up a quarterback right away. You never know. So if that's the case, then you know that most likely that they could let him go for something like a two
And
hundred
that's why
fifty
if
million
they
dollar
feel it's
contract.
worth it, that's to say they want to end up with him.
Hmm.
But if they're not going to end up with him, you're going to have to pay them.
Because the sign and trade is interesting too, though. The sign and trade is very interesting because if you do like
Because they can get more than 2 first rounders.
yeah, I was gonna say, but that's the only way you do that is if Lamar, if he gets a bigger, fully guaranteed contract.
Hmm.
That's the only way that happens. If he gets like 200 million fully guaranteed, then he gets traded for a couple picks and then a player or two. Then that's the best deal for the Ravens, obviously. Now